Hi, I'm Issa. My pronouns are they, she, and it. This is the second part of my 3-part year outside the binary. And when I'm saying outside the binary, I mean like not just the process of transitioning or being trans, rather being perceived as different genders at different times. So like being perceived as a man or a woman, or something in between, or a gay man or a gay woman, a trans person, having all of those kind of different experiences, which I continue to have now, but at different degrees. I left for New York. I was so excited and anxious. I just got into the apartment. I am disgusting. I'm disgusting and sweaty. And it's fucking 2 a.m. I've been traveling all day. But I made it, yay. I had no plans. I didn't have a job. I didn't know anyone. This apartment kind of became like my incubation of figuring myself out. Every day I would get dressed up and I would be a different person when I went outside, which was really freeing. You know, I didn't know anyone, so it was just like, however someone saw me at that moment, that's like who I was. I think really at the time, I remember being very hyper-focused on being perceived in specific ways that I'd wanted. You know, being perceived as a masculine woman or like a butch was a really big goal of mine. This one day, I'd seen this person on the subway station who had this big t-shirt, and I was like, oh, I don't know what gender that person is. Like, I should buy a really big t-shirt. So I went and bought a really big t-shirt, and I wore it the next day with a little bit of eyeshadow, and someone referred to me as ma'am, and I was so enthralled. You know, this novel idea I'd come up with, just wearing huge clothing. So I just got ma'amed in this outfit. These are shorts. Ugh. During this time, I got a job at a pizzeria, and I wasn't out to anyone at the job, which was a good decision. Because what was I gonna say? Like, tell these old like African dudes like I use they them pronouns. You think they're gonna care? But I did find myself very miserable because I was just getting misgendered all the time. But what was really great about working there was I got to introduce myself with a new name. I had never been one of those people who like immediately figured out their name. I didn't know. When I introduced myself to this new workplace, I introduced myself as Issa. This name, Issa, feels more comfortable. I feel like I'm not gonna be gendered in ways that I don't want to. It started to become confusing, and it was like I was in this middle place of having multiple names, having 2 names and not really having any name. I felt very transient, not having a name and not really having a gender, being a different person every day. I had my first Pride. I actually missed it and I had to go to work. But I went to like this club weekend before Pride-ish, and it was just crazy, and like it all felt very new, you know? Everything felt very new. Part of me really wanted to stay within the things that felt comfortable for me, and sometimes that meant like I wouldn't go out as much. And like I also wanted to like be uncomfortable and like do things that like I wouldn't normally do. When I first went out to this club, I realized how many people were interested in me. And I think in the past I'd felt so undesirable and so unwanted. And then I would go out, you know, out here in New York, I would be very desirable. Yeah, I would have different genders, different people hitting on me. And it was really affirming in many ways, in which I was like, oh, I'm like sexy, like. But also part of me was like, I'm not ready to just like hook up with random people. Like, I don't know how to do that. And so I tried to push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit. I think I learned later on, the people were interested in me as a bit of a novelty, I think, and not necessarily as like a person, which makes sense, you know, it's like not the best setting. But I remember just giving people my number and being like, I'm not gonna hook up with you now because I'm scared, but you can hit me up and take me out if you want, and here's my number. And it just never happened. It just never happened. I got myself some hot chocolate. Okay, well it's not that hot. Warm chocolate. You know how it is. I had decided I wanted to get hair extensions. I felt like my hair wasn't growing fast enough. I just wanted to know what it felt like to have long hair because I knew it would be such a commitment to grow it out. And so I wanted to know how I'd feel if I had long hair. One thing I didn't realize about hair extensions is that they're extremely difficult to take care of and they hurt a lot. So like I didn't know that much. Hair is such a complicated thing, and I think it's so gendered, hair. And right when I got out of the office or the salon, I was freaked out. I had changed just so drastically and immediately. I went home and I stopped hormones immediately. I was like, I need to chill, because I felt like I was going too fast and I was changing too fast, and their hair extensions were a lot, which they were. They were a lot. I felt really good about being able to be like a woman. Kind of the hair like really helped me be seen as a girl in ways that I hadn't before. It was difficult to like navigate that because I was so used to this other way of just like living. I think the most noticeable thing is that straight men started to become interested in me. I had just gotten a lot of gay men who were into me before. Gay men and cis women, actually. I had a lot of gay men and cis women who were into me. And then I started to have straight men who were into me, which was a very different experience. So the first time I really noticed a difference was someone offered me money to have sex with them on the street. Someone assumed I was a street worker. The first time that happened was a week or so after I got my hair extensions. Really weird experience. I was high as shit sitting in a park that was full of people, and a dude came up to me and was like, I'm horny. And he pulled out like a $20 or I don't know, $100, some amount of money. I was way too fucking high to even notice. And I went, okay. You know, I don't know how you're supposed to respond to that. Like, okay, sis. But yeah, that kind of fucked my head up a little bit. Just fucking wild. Just wild. But also knowing that like it happens to other girls. Like, and I think it's also like the specific intersection of like femininity and masculinity that is like very visible. Even though I felt like a pariah in some ways, I did feel like that was a correct gender for me to inhabit, if that makes any sense. I was like, okay, well, I hope that doesn't happen again. Psych. So after that, I went to Europe. I went to see my cousin. She was doing an abroad program there, and I was like, okay, like I can stay in Denmark for free? What? She was like not happy about it. So I went to Denmark, and I was really excited because I was like, okay, Pride is happening at the same time I'm going. I missed the initial Pride in New York. I can go to Denmark Pride. Joke's on me. Denmark is really transphobic. So that was also a yikes moment where situations that I described, i.e. me being assumed to be a street worker, happened a couple more times. Less direct, more like people pulling over their cars and like rolling down their windows to like get me to go inside. And me being like, no, I'm gonna keep walking. So yeah, that happened like a couple more times, particularly in Europe, like during the biggest Pride event in Europe in Denmark. Sometimes it's LGBT and not the tea. I could go into like what even happened during that trip, but I think a lot of like shit that was happening was like because I was just like getting harassed a lot. Like I wish Flawless Kevin would watch this. Like I know this kind of shit's happening to him. There's just no way it's not. My heart goes out to you, Kevin. This shit sucks. I'm sorry. Harassment's part of the reason that like there's not a lot of femmes on YouTube. You know, harassment's part of the reason that there's not a lot of femmes in public. I think the last time, honestly, I don't know how this broke some kind of spell, but like the last time someone thought I was a street worker was I was sitting on a bench. This guy came up to me. He started like making small talk. And I was like, hi, like, I guess I don't know you, but like, whatever. I'm just like sitting here. It's also broad daylight, mind you. It's like in the middle of the day. And he goes, do you like sex? And I'm like, 180? What? What are you talking about? You were just asking me like if I speak French. And I'm like, no, I don't speak French. And he's like, no, do you like sex? Period, pause. So you think I'm a sex worker? And he was like, yes. And I said, this femininity, none of this is for you. None of it's for you. I do this for myself. Like, I think reacting in a way in which you just are like, no, like, go away, or like, I really want to shame him. Because part of it is like, you better not fucking do this to other people. You know, I'm going to shame the fuck out of you right now. And then you're not going to do it to anyone else. It's also just so embarrassing. You're just telling me like you don't get pussy. That's what you come up to me, a random stranger, and you're like, I don't get pussy. And I'm like, that's fucking lame. Like, that's literally so unsexy. That's how I take, you know, a lot of like dealing with transphobia on, is I just like shame the fuck out of someone. I'm like, what's wrong with you, bitch? Like, that's how I deal with Grindr people too. I'm like, you're a freak. Why are you acting like that? Like, you're literally a freak. After Europe, I went back to New York. And then I had to decide if I wanted to stay or not. And that's down to part 2. This shit took forever to record. I appreciate you guys watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Share this shit with other people. I don't know. Like, you don't have to do anything, but like, if you want to help me out, put it on Reddit. Watch my other videos. Watch the last part if you haven't watched it already. Follow my Instagram at Isa Miso Miso. It's the same thing. Thank you for watching.